What is up, American Horror Story fans? We are talking about the finale of Season 6, Roanoke, Chapter 10. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What is up, American Horror Story fans? Welcome to... Oh, hey, what's up?
Hey.
All right.
Don't let me down. It's a little ironic, no?
Yeah, there we go. All right, unintentional, but sure, we'll go with that. Welcome to the after show for Season 6. This song is tripping me out, I'm sorry. For Season 6, Episode 10, Chapter 10 of Roanoke. I am Alana Jordan, I am your host, and today I am joined by my phenomenal panel.
Hey guys, I'm Kelly McInerney. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo.
Hey guys, I'm Michelle Madison. Follow me on Instagram, Michelle_MadisonTV.
What's up, everyone? This is Zach Kelch. You can follow me at Zach Kelch on social media platforms.
All right, let's dive right on into this episode.
As we're clubbing out.
Hey.
Chain smokers, I love ya.
Turn that music down a little bit if we want.
We need some happy music to get us going right now.
I'm curious about this video though.
Or, okay.
Oh, we got lights at the club.
Are we getting punks right now?
What is happening?
Ashton.
I am more confused by what is happening right now than I was by the episode, and I was pretty confused by the episode. We don't have our intro music. We got some
Lights,
Chainsmokers music video tonight. Why not?
We're celebrating the end of an era.
I
How about
guess
that?
so.
Sure. Okay. Why not?
This episode, though.
Yeah, this was an interesting one.
head
That's a
scratcher.
nice way of putting it.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. A lot of confusing things happened this episode as well, so I guess that was an appropriate intro. We had several different shows and different formats that made an appearance on this one.
Didn't like any though, you know?
I will say,
didn't
though-
like any of them.
No, I won't say that because I did really like the Trixie Mattel little Trixie Mattel, my favorite queen at the very, very beginning of the episode.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Our
Okay,
bad.
so I love Trixie, sorry, but shout out to all my fellow Trixie fans. So, starts with saying their nightmare was our dream. And then we find out that this is, I guess, pre-season 2. We're getting a little flashback to PaleyFest, March 15th, 2016. Yeah, it was, that was an interesting little setup there.
Just call it like it is, boo. It was cheesy.
It was really cheesy.
It was really
intro was
cheesy.
but I think it was intentionally cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that girl with that accent.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, when you do cheese, like, I don't know, when you do cheese, like, I always think of when people say it's cheesy or whatever, but it, like, something like Heathers is a classic thing that is cheesy and does it
Tongue-in-cheek.
well. Because it's tongue-in-cheek and it's making these characters that cheese works in this world. They're putting these cheesy characters in the real world, so it doesn't work. It's just as dumb and overplayed.
Well, it's every time they have
Ooh,
kind
you
of
were
like the little
harsh tonight.
throw-ins.
Wait, did you hear what he said? He said dumb and overplayed. That was so harsh.
It's true though.
I'm sorry. That
Look at you.
that first commercial break of them doing that panel and then Audrey being like, "Oh, do you really love me?" It was
I
just
love
like,
that part though.
But I almost feel
Jesus.
like that was on purpose. Like, I think it was like a tribute to kind of what we've been saying, like the cheesy, with the girl with the accent who's like, I'm from London, and then she's
she
like
sounds
Scottish,
like-
Scottish,
she's
then also,
Irish,
like,
and she's
Southern.
Celtic. I think that was
Yeah.
intentional. I think that was because I think that was almost a little like what up that they were throwing to some of the critics for, you know, some different things in the show. I know a lot of people have been calling out some of the accents on the show, so I think that was kind of like a
So they're making fun of us.
But maybe do it better.
Almost.
Like this was just like uncomfortable to watch. Kind
It
of like,
was.
was it like, is this supposed to be funny? Because I don't like it.
this
You
is
know.
I mean, I
American
do,
Horror
yeah,
Story.
like, because I feel like I probably sound like this huge like anti Ryan Murphy person, which I'm not at all. I do like Scream Queens a lot and what it does there with camp, but like this,
This was like American Horror Story's Sharknado. That's how I felt about it. It
yeah,
felt like something
that's
that
actually
was.
kind of a good
This
comparison.
feels like it should have been like on Sci-Fi or Chiller.
Yeah, well,
it's-
it's because I think it was trying to do a Cabin in the Woods, where it was supposed to be like a
But
reference to all of the different
Yeah.
horror
But
movies.
Even Cabin
Right.
in the Woods was like.
but that's
Cabin in
because
the Woods did it very well.
thing-
This
The thing that I think would be the major argument between this and Cabin in the Woods is, though, like, because that they pick these, like, different almost subgenres and different sections of the show, and production value kept changing. I think that's maybe why as a viewer, you're more noticing when something doesn't land as well as other moments, because Cabin in the Woods is it's consistent across the board of what it is, how it looks, how it's filmed.
The format makes sense.
Format. And then this show, because we're switching intentionally so much, which I did like, it is going to make the viewer more hyper aware when these changes happen.
Yeah, but I mean, there were very obvious references, like the Jason when he pulls up like the big machete, which that's a clear reference. I mean, it's right off the poster.
No questioning that one.
So I mean, it's kind of like how we've been analyzing some of them that are like, oh, this is a reference to it. I think in that moment, setting it up with that, where it's like, hey, expect. I think it was almost the writers being like, okay, expect this to be a cheesy episode. That we've kind of, because we've had the ones where they've had kind of the hokey thing and then it's switched. I think that was supposed to be kind of the setup. Here's our little Jason. Here's our slasher movie.
Oh, speaking of, did you show off the purse?
Oh, yeah.
For those of you just listening, Alana has bought a
tribute to the butcher bag.
She has a butcher clutch.
That has some nice little red accents.
With matching earrings.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm going to be your Vanna Black tonight.
There you go.
That was good.
I love it. Yeah, so I have my own butcher purse to slit my own neck. Because
the butcher probably wanted to slit her own neck. But
because we all died a little bit various episodes,
especially this one though.
Yeah, this one we all kind of were.
Right.
Yeah.
What was our next show in this episode?
The next one, well, we get the YouTube reaction. So we have the PaleyFest thing. Then next we get the YouTube reactions where we have both the girl with
the terrible
accent who was asking the questions, the PaleyFest fan saying, we thought the second season was really exploitative. That's how we know that we've moved forward in time. And that it's now after the second season. Then we see the last remaining Polk doing his confessional on YouTube, too. Which that is one thing that I'm sorry now. What?
I like his views. He had like 15 views.
Oh, is that what it
you
was?
paid attention to that? I am back to how did they get Wi-Fi or signal?
That's what I'm saying. Like, his high-speed internet, and like Mama had the password. She's dead.
Yeah, she has everything.
This little Polk boy, like, what is he? Yeah.
There's no way she gave out that password. Also, their password was probably like 17 letters and numbers, just all disconfigured.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to put that in there.
Yeah. No, come on now. Even if it was words, he wouldn't know what they said. Poor little Polk
Maybe he
boy.
just has a phone that's just automatically connected to YouTube or whatever. The 4G. He's got that 4G on his phone.
Right.
That's great. And he probably took the YouTube, the Uber too.
With that guy.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, how does he know his way around the big city?
Well, that's the other thing. Did I miss that? Did it say where the interview was happening with Lana?
No.
That's what I'm like, how did he know?
He's not that smart.
There's a few things that I'm like, okay. But, okay, so we get we have the one show, we have the little YouTube things, but then we get a full-fledged, we have references to My Roanoke Nightmare and 3 Days in Hell, Return to Roanoke. Now Cracked is doing an episode.
Punked, and I know that's an MTV reference.
It's like this whole...
Yeah.
So, it's like a true crime kind of a story thing. So they're basically now we're getting all the backstory
Mark
of
Phillips from the DA is wanting to prosecute for the three
very
people.
OJ-ish.
It is. It's almost like, hey, don't forget that we did American Crime Story. American Crime Story was good, right?
Yeah.
No,
Go watch American Crime Story.
I think this was like supposed to be so making fun of that, like, of this subgenre, because it just looked so like.
It is very VH1. Where are they now? Behind the music.
See, I was gonna go like A&E with one of those like weird docu series and a lot of interviews and stuff.
I got a little Ancient Aliens in there too.
Yeah.
Later on.
But it was good. I mean,
we get more of our backstory from that. We get the Marcus Minor finds out that there is actually a hallucinogenic property in the marijuana, so that's how they're able to discredit that. Stephanie Holder's her lawyer, who I like that they had, the female lawyer coming in, busting in, kicking some butt. So I was like, I'll give you that.
Girl
Right.
I'll
power.
give you that at least.
Moms for moms.
Yeah, saying diminished capacity is at its full effect here. Obviously, she was drugged and put in a horrific situation. So she's let off from that one, but the DA not having it. He's coming after her for Mason's
Mason.
murder.
Which,
Because legit, we figured that would happen if they have the confession on tape of her saying it.
right.
So her lawyer's trying to discredit that. But then we find out Flora was actually hiding in the woods and flat out saw Mom kill Dad with a rock, bashing his head in. So, being a very good lawyer, Miss Holder discredits her by saying, and you were in the woods with who now?
A ghost.
That was smart.
My little ghost friend.
But didn't
was
you
real
see
smart.
though that it was Lee leaning over and it was like as if being like ask her who she was
Yeah,
with.
I think it was
Lee
Lee,
very-
100%
yeah.
was, kind of pulling the strings on that one, saying,
Yeah,
You
she's with a
could
ghost.
make my
Yeah.
daughter sound crazy so I can be scotch free.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Bring her down.
But then it is not very good for poor Lee to hear that her daughter felt, quote, safer with a dead girl in the woods than with her own parents.
Well, at least it
And she
wasn't just
said she was
Lee.
happier with her than she ever was with you.
If Priscilla's got some powers or
Yeah.
stuff, I get it, but
But
I don't know.
at least she referred to the whole family. It wasn't just Lee that she didn't like. I'm just saying.
yeah,
Grandparents
but
and the
still.
dad.
Well, I think she said the parent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Try to make her feel better.
right.
Well, we
everybody.
find out that in this interview, a 16-day long trial goes by, and because as the juror says, it's a long trial, the juror says that they, quote, couldn't send a woman to jail based on ghost stories. So she's
see
found
that.
not guilty,
Great.
which that whole Priscilla basically just saved her in
Yeah.
this scenario. So I
'Cause
can
then the
kind
main-
of
'cause
see
then
the
the main-
later throwback.
Because the
yeah.
main argument that she only made that confession on tape to try and get Jether to like let her
Jether.
go or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't get how that would
Either.
work though. Like,
I don't know.
I killed my husband. Let me go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Flora.
like Jether's gonna be like, I also like murdering. We got a lot in common.
Right.
Let's hang out and we'll smoke some crazy hallucinogenic weed together and go
Yeah.
murdering.
I can't. I still want to know, how did Mason get on that pinwheel thingy?
That is the
And
thing
yeah,
that we
That's
never.
something that I'm like, yeah, Lee is really strong.
Because she
If
must have
was
done. I
able
mean, she
to-
obviously was setting up to make it look like one of the ghosts did it or something. But like,
But I thought,
We only heard that she hit him with a rock.
yeah,
I
she didn't do
think-
anything else after.
Yeah. Well, we also, because she is stressing so much, that was on me and only me. I'm wondering if maybe she had some help from.
The spirits, but she didn't eat the.
No, not from the
heart yet.
spirits, but from
Who?
Shelby and
Matt.
Matt, maybe.
think
Like,
so.
if
They-
after.
Because they never. I think that they would have had a confessional to say.
Yeah,
something
that's
by now.
true. They probably would have.
There's just a lot of.
I just try to think of
unanswered
some sort of
questions.
way that it can make sense because Lee wouldn't have been able to lift his body up there by herself.
Yeah.
See, this is a point when we could have that whole UFO thing come back around that we never addressed from seasons ago.
I'd rather not though.
I'm just saying, but something to
That's-
explain this because
We get
I'm
another
like,
asylum tie-in, and
I
it's
need-
just
I
like the
need
aliens are
something.
like, "Oh, did you need a hand with this?"
Yeah.
And they just like set Mason there and then go
at least
away.
I have an answer, at
Sure.
least.
All right, I'm all right with it.
Cool.
I'm just saying.
Well, to get some more answers, we need a very good reporter. So good thing the absolute best has come out of retirement to do her beautifully introed
Really.
Oh my
Alana
God.
Winters special, a conversation.
My favorite.
with Lee
Cheese
Head.
My
on
favorite thing in this episode is
cheese.
Sarah Paulson as Lana Winters.
Yeah.
I do love Sarah Paulson as Lana Winters.
Love the weird little like facial tics she's doing through the makeup and everything. It's very cool. I like it a lot.
I do have to say though that Lana Winters intro, if
Yeah.
there was
That
a
was like-
TV intro version of the butterfly filter on Snapchat, it
Ooh,
would be
yeah.
that intro.
That was
Like
like Final Cut
sheets
Pro
glowing.
1. with the cheesy make your own movie intro.
I was waiting for like Fabio to just be like,
they had to throw this thing together.
No, they had Lana Winters' money. They could have made a better intro.
True.
well,
they have Lana Winters' money. They had Lana Winters' security. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But before everything goes awry, she starts to interview Lee. And we do get some, I mean, I will say, especially to what you were saying, Zach, this is a really good moment just for these two actresses to see them on screen.
Yeah,
so
it was good.
I agree.
I do like...
That's why I was so bummed that the teaser that we saw last week was only that. I honestly was pretty excited for an entire episode that would kind of just be the interview.
I thought it would be a good solid 20 minutes at this at least.
Yeah.
Not like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very short.
I also thought our predictions would have came through.
But
We think a lot of things,
Right.
and sometimes they don't come true.
We
You
think a
know?
lot of things, but so the big another thing that really kind of echoed, pun intended, in my mind for this was the echoing of how she keeps saying it's always been about Flora. It's always been about Flora. Even in the interview, you know, we have the first reference, we get that direct line. Later on, Lana says it in her interview. And that doesn't really, I don't understand why this was such an emphasized thing.
Yeah.
There wasn't that much payoff for it, for just that line was so reiterated and stressed.
We thought like maybe she was like a demon baby, you guys said, or something. That she's just like a stupid kid that wanted to be with a ghost.
I can't with you. I think go ahead.
No, you
go.
I think honestly it was maybe them still trying to salvage some. In the beginning, I think we were all pretty excited that it seemed like the basis of this season was a very like familial problem, like just family and loving or hating people and that and dealing with that. And then we lost that in the middle a lot through what they were doing. Originally, we were really excited that it was like mom and daughter, husband-wife conflict. And so maybe they were just trying to bring that back by making it so much of a mom about her daughter.
It seemed like they were bookending it.
Yeah.
Like, I almost feel like watching this season, you can almost see the writer process where you can see on the board the note cards that were there all season.
Like, and we gotta circle back to
the ones that were
this.
like filled in. Because there were like ways that it was done well, but it felt like it was as if somebody gave them puzzle pieces and said, okay, now cut these to make them fit.
Gotcha.
Instead of finding things that actually went together. Like, it's still the same picture, but not the way that we thought it was going to look.
Yeah, I guess that's what you're saying.
Well, going on that note, I think, and I'm kind of skipping ahead towards, I guess, the ending. I think it goes back to what you're talking about with the echoing and book ending it and making it about Flora. Like, it wasn't what we expected. She did all this to save her daughter, and she made the ultimate sacrifice to not be with her daughter.
Yeah.
In a sense. So I guess.
Which we'll dive into all of that too.
Yeah.
We'll talk a whole lot about the ending when we get to that. But before we even, I mean, there's still so much that happens. That's like 3 shows later.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
There's so many. It's crazy. So we get this great interview of them talking. We get where she's saying, you know, well, you killed your son, bloody face.
Right.
Which
I mean, I get. Like, they make like a funny little line where Lana says, like, well, you said no to Barbara, you said no to Diane, like, why me? And she was like, I relate to you because we've been through hell and back, and you've killed family.
You did what you had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, I mean, we get the why it makes sense that we have this character returning. And this, I think, was done well. The execution of bringing in a character from a previous season that it's difficult to make the mesh. So this one worked. I do agree, though. I wish that there was more of it instead of having it just to be a setup for...
Because, well, yeah, essentially the only real moment we got out of this, like, was her being like, well, why are you here? And Lee, so we find out that Lee isn't, at this moment, doesn't have contact with Flora, and so she just says, like, I thought this was about to be, like, a real acting moment and, like, this huge speech, and she says, like, I love you and I'll never stop coming for you. It was like, it was bizarre to me how, like, kind of callous she was. If this was the moment she wanted, was a moment for hopefully Flora to see her on TV and her to, like, appeal to her and as her mom.
Very John Benet Ramsey.
It was it was because it was supposed to be, if that was it, then clearly that wasn't a really heartfelt thing because they find out Flora's missing and Lana thinks that Leah's taken her.
Yeah.
Which, if Flora was only reported missing an hour before the interview, wouldn't Leah have already been there, like getting her makeup done?
She was reported missing, but maybe they were looking for her, and it took a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. There is this.
Doesn't it take a few hours to report somebody missing, too? Do you have to wait?
It's supposed to be 24 hours, I think.
I thought it was 48. But still, how
48.
did that little girl get there? But I don't want to jump ahead.
Well, yeah, that's like weeks later, though, so that's how.
So we get,
But, so this is basically all just a setup so that we can have the final Polk remaining family member bust in with an assault weapon.
And how did he know where to find them? It wasn't at a studio.
Yeah.
It's at a hotel. That's what
how
it looks
did he
like.
even get, I mean, if you
How
have
did
a
he get
national...
clearance?
I just...
There's a lot. And he doesn't look like somebody who should be there.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like somebody who needs immediate medical attention.
And
And
he's holding
he has a giant gun.
like an AK-47
Yeah,
or
Maybe
something.
that's a play
like,
on what's going on with us what's going on in the real world with people and guns. Maybe it's a play on that also. Like, we think it's
I don't
common
think people are
sense.
shooting people with a giant gun. I think they just shoot them with little guns.
in broad daylight, because we got the windows behind them, we know it's broad daylight.
Yeah.
And like,
I'm trying to get something.
I know, I'm really...
I'm trying.
there had to have been a better way to get this turn in motivation, like, because it's just it just did not.
Yeah, I feel like it would have made more sense if it was at a studio where he knows where to find them.
It was just rushed and just like not thought about that well. They're just like, let's put some more drama for.
If it had been like
reason.
a big advertised thing and they were like, oh, it's going to be like a whatever, or there was a studio audience or something.
Yeah,
that would have.
Or maybe the turn should have been just her telling her that Flora's missing, and we finally get a call back to her eating this damn heart out of Lady Gaga's hands, and she goes all monster on their asses and breaks out of there to go look for Flora.
Certainly was going to happen. Yeah. I thought at some point we were going to get some sort of reference
to her probably being a part of the new witch cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but instead it was just like, what up?
That's what I was waiting for in this episode.
And then nothing comes of it.
Yeah, I thought the Polk guy was gonna shoot her, and she was just gonna be like, "I'm okay," because I'm a monster, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I thought that was like truly going to be the climax of this episode. The impetus was that like she's not someone to mess with anymore.
Yeah, she's like the butcher.
Instead, the Polk guy just gets shot by the cop, and then it's sent to technical difficulties.
Well, he knocked out Lana first.
Yeah, he did KO Lana hard.
Also, Lana's a badass. She was standing in front of Lee, being like, "No, don't shoot her," and Lee was like,
she was like behind Lana. She was like, "Oh no."
I did like that we've been talking about what a badass Lee is, and then Lana busts in and is like, I am old and I do not care, and I will say what I need to say until I get knocked out, and then it's up to you guys. But then I thought, before we get anything else from them, we just get technical difficulties, and then boom, brand new show. Come back from commercial. Every time there was a commercial break, it was a brand new show. If you were flipping through channels,
you honestly probably thought you didn't know what was going on.
I would think that something was wrong with my television.
Yeah.
But instead, it was just the November 18th episode of Spirit Chasers.
Oh.
That intro.
Oh.
That's with them appearing.
Again, it's obviously just it's a parody of the real shows that exist like this, but didn't we like just do this with Thaisa last episode and stuff?
But I think that's like this whole season 2 has been all of these horror movie references, and we've had like consistently classic horror movie or new horror movie or slasher or thriller, and this is like also there's a lot of stuff on TV. Right. I'm like, well, what does this have to do with anything? Like, this is not, like, it's a ghost hunters show, which is less...
Right.
Kind of...
Well, I mean, I can get why the ghost hunters would go there. It makes sense.
But also, I think
the delivery just didn't work for me.
The only thing is, though, it's like now at this point in this world that... Like everyone, like as we found out from Scottish Girl in her YouTube video, everyone knows that everyone actually got murdered there.
Yeah. So why are they coming back? Why are they using wire cutters to come back? And if you are Ashley Gilbert, who played Cricket, why are you going with these crazy men who are saying we don't have permission to be here? We're using wire cutters to break
money.
They gave,
Exactly.
They
Remember, it
gave
goes
him
back
that
to that.
bitter line when he was like, "I wasn't invited back, and I'm pissed about it." And I'm just like, "Okay, well, die."
Yeah,
then, I guess.
But he said, fortunately, it was a good thing or something. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, you're back there now
Yeah.
by your
So
own
why
choice.
are you going back
With
during the blood
less,
moon
with less security than you
with
would
idiots?
Money.
Money. Yep.
Publicity, ego. That just every time they have the actors, it's always just I'm like, okay, we get it, writers. You don't like actors, like.
I guess, yeah, that's something we can take away from this season
I
for
feel like
sure.
they're poking fun at us a lot. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot. Like sometimes I feel like I'm watching skits from SNL where you can tell like they're just digging at the people who have to say the lines.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like-
very true because there's the way that they crafted with, and then what was Cuba Gooding's actual character's name who played Matt?
Oh.
Oh my gosh, I just blinked because
I know there's so many now. There's so many versions of these people,
Because
of these characters.
we didn't
I
get
can't
them
think
long
of.
enough to like
Invest.
have a connection. Yeah. Like,
Anyway, yeah, like then in the panel in the beginning of the episode when he was like, "What about me?" and just like wanted to get people like cheering for him.
Yeah. It's just consistent. But I mean, I was glad to see cricket again.
Yeah.
So even though it was
Very short.
very, very short-lived, literally, he
Again.
died pretty quickly and not in a fun way.
No.
Once again.
At least he wasn't disemboweled.
Yeah.
At least he was trying to stick up for himself, I guess. I don't
was trying to
know.
save
he was like, maybe it
everybody.
actually works.
That was gonna work.
Jumped in front
And
of
we
the
haven't
pig
heard
man to
that
yell
word.
Croatoan.
In like how many chapters has it been since we heard the word Croatoan?
Yeah.
When he does that
It's
spell in the
like-
first place, I think.
Yeah. And then,
And then it had no significance after that.
And then we heard it
yeah.
again. Yeah.
So there was just a lot of things that were just setups to then,
Nothing.
There was no follow through.
yeah.
No closure.
And then they start getting their little creepy moments before the pig man shows up, or the stereotypical, like the sheet flies off the bed, the doors all slam, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's creepy. And then Lee shows up because she's looking for Flora, and they freak out, but they're excited that Lee has shown up.
Right.
I thought she was
'Cause good
possessed.
TV.
I was
Same.
really
I was
too.
stoked.
Yeah.
I was,
I was
hoping
like,
she
I thought we were
Finally.
about to get like
Sasquatch, or
well, no,
Scathach.
but like what am I thinking of? Carrie kind of a moment,
Oh,
just
yeah.
like a full blown like raising fire from
Yeah.
nothing,
that
and
would
like,
be awesome.
but no.
A lot of
Yeah.
our ideas were awesome. For
Consult
this.
Yeah, we
us for
couldn't
season
see
7.
Yeah.
Just
we,
in case you
We
need,
had some good ones.
if you need some help.
So then she shows up, and this is now we know we're getting more of the time frame because she says that she's been looking for Flora for weeks.
Weeks
And
now.
this is the last place she needs to look.
Yeah, she's showing
Okay.
up
Yeah.
because, and then she sees that Priscilla's bonnet is there that Ashley has found, and she, she makes the connection. She's like, Priscilla has taken her from me before. She's coming back.
Yeah.
Done
But if
it
she's
again.
had weeks, couldn't she have come back and looked for her
Not
weeks
during
ago
the blood
instead
moon?
of during the blood? Also, how many blood moons are they having?
This is the other
Yeah.
thing.
There's a lot of blood moons
I'm
going
gonna,
down.
I'll wait
I gotta
to make this point.
I gotta
in
look that up to
chronology.
see.
Because we didn't did we know it was the blood moon this show until the very last frame of the actual episode?
Yes, they did
Did they
say
say
during
it?
it. They
They
said
showed
not
it.
only are we here with no permission, we're here during the blood moon.
Yeah. They said
I
it.
really would. I'm not going to because I didn't particularly love the last 2 episodes enough. But I would want to watch these back and try and figure out the timeline of then what. So was it a full year ago then when the other kids were there during the blood moon also?
That's what I'm
has
thinking.
to-
Is it's like 1 year to the day.
Yeah.
This timeline is sketchy AF.
So
Yeah.
is
I
how
guess,
they
court stuff
die.
takes a while.
Bloody
That's
face,
true.
bloody
Well, yeah.
moon. There's there's just a lot. There's a lot of bloodiness going on. Mm-hmm. It's a real bloody situation.
That I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Logistically, Lee would have gone there not during the blood moon, as she knows better.
Yeah, like if she's had weeks, it's like, okay, well, fine. But I do like that she says what we were all thinking, which is, you stupid, what? You deserve to die.
Good.
Because you have chosen to come here during a blood moon to film another stupid show
Yeah.
when you saw how this went down.
Spirit catchers don't quit, though,
Yep.
Oh, goodies
don't
never
run.
say die.
Dummy.
Until
We don't
they
run, we
die.
chase.
Yeah, well, didn't work out for them when the chins first show up on their thermal cam.
Yeah.
The audio file of Priscilla.
was a real downward slope from there.
It was, yeah. First,
it was essentially like a
Ashley
montage.
dies, then the Chin daughter takes Dave, which that was like a weird. Did anybody else feel like it felt like the little animatronic spiders?
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt very much like an animatronic spider. Like I was like, okay.
Yeah. Or like a
I don't
cartoon
like
when it comes
spiders.
down and just.
Yeah,
gets
well, it was
you.
like the vacant stare. Like I was like, is that an actor or is that like a doll? I don't know. It was creepy.
Yeah.
But then Bob sees the twins, runs away, and the butcher butches poor Tracy.
What, she just stopped Tracy to like look or something? Like did you see
I
that?
think-
And then like all of a sudden the butcher just killed her.
I don't
thought she was
Yeah.
running towards
or
the
she was like
police
in a
cars.
trance. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we saw the cameraman just kind of turned and saw her standing there, and she turns and the butcher gets her. I did really like the way that this was shot, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
there was a
The
couple
bow and
shots that
arrows.
were like awesome, cool.
Yeah.
The
I
bow
give
and
him that.
arrows were cool.
When they
very
had the
unexpected.
blood moon down to
And then they did like
down.
almost like they must have like flipped a steady cams like on the actual
Yeah, so
guy
you
who
could
was
see
Yeah.
The camera guy.
That
and
was
then
cool.
saw him falling. I mean, the cinematography this episode was
That's
pretty
good.
bomb.
Towards the end.
yeah.
when the action was
end.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that leads to a 14-hour-long standoff, which we get via news.
So
I mean, spirit chasers. I'm like, so do they go back and get the footage? And
Well,
then
they said
air it?
no.
Like,
Remember
they said-
before that segment, they said based on the surviving castmates' approval,
Yeah.
we aired this footage.
We aired
Who
it.
No one survived.
That's what I was wondering. Is I was like,
that
everyone
sounds like a
died.
joke, maybe. Like
That was a good joke.
based on the survive, there's none of them, so we don't need their permission.
Oh.
You know.
That could be.
Oh, okay.
But also, why didn't Lee leave? I guess she didn't want to leave at night because of the spirits or whatever. Is that why? Why did she stay there? Like why?
Because Flora was refusing to leave. But I'm like, Flora's a little girl.
Pick her up.
and
Literally
run out the door. For
grab
14
the
hours.
Damn girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would not go 14 minutes before I was like, listen, little girl,
I mean, I think
you
the
have
main,
caused a lot of drama. Look all these people who have died.
right.
You can't play with your little dead friend in the woods all the time.
I think the main argument is then that she would take her out and Flora would just refuse to like live with her the rest of her life or something.
Flora
She'd be
would
so
run back in.
upset. But like
yeah.
better than-
I let the courts figure it out rather than sacrifice herself to
Yeah.
like death.
Yeah.
So, okay, the police officers that got killed with the ghost chasers people, like, were there more police officers that came right away, or did it happen the next day? Because I'm trying to understand if it's during the blood moon.
Never
I bet
know.
I'm gonna
Why-
assume that when they broke in, they tripped some security thing, and that's why the first fleet came, and then it would be probably a thing of like it just more
Yeah.
would come to check and what the hell
So,
is going
but
on.
wouldn't have the butcher and her peoples been out on the blood moon and killed them too? Why
Maybe
were there
they
so many
waited.
Well, I'm
cops?
thinking it's because like that was near the end of the night. Like if it's a 14-hour standoff, like this is now becoming near the end of the next day,
I get it. I'm thinking
and we see that the sun's about to go down.
took
So
that long for the other police officers to come.
I don't know.
I'm
Okay,
thinking,
I
well, I'm
just have
thinking
to-
maybe like it's just that it was near the end. Like the police officers came like an hour later, but by that point the sun was starting to come up, and unless it's like nighttime, by that point they'd already kind of gotten their fill. They killed all of these idiots.
But they could kill during the day because they killed the.
Yeah.
Well, that's
see,
an
this
issue.
is-
That's
this
an
is what
issue we've
all-
had the whole season.
Yeah,
the day
yeah,
versus
why
night thing makes
too
no
many
sense.
holes for me.
Yeah, I do like how they were able to bring back, the William Van Henderson character for his interview. How we
Oh.
had the
Oh, the
Art.
professor?
Yeah, the original,
yeah.
the professor. We were wondering if we were going to ever see him again, so they were able to bring. But then they just brought him in to do
do the
another
same
actor
thing.
dig, which is the
Yeah.
same gag over and over and over again, which is
Let me
I
be
was
as
asked to be
self-centered
there.
as possible.
so there's been a lot of
Emails.
questions about this, but I have a lot of conflicting reports, but I have the email chain.
Yeah.
Listen,
Like,
at
nobody
least
cares
he made
about that.
At least he made the right choice by not going, though. If he was,
He was not invited. I think that's what we're
Yeah.
supposed to assume.
Yeah.
Is that he wasn't.
And that he's pretending like he was.
Because he wants to seem more cool. Because he's an actor, and that's what actors do. They only care about themselves and their money and their fame and their
Yeah.
money.
Attention.
But at least we get like the really good Lana line where we have her,
True.
resting in bed, where she's saying both Lee and herself have the capacity or the curse to have the singularity of thought. The whole a dog with a bone. This is when we get the echo, though.
Yeah.
where it's like, it's always about Flora. It's always been about Flora.
It's always about Flora.
And it was right then that I was thinking, oh, okay, so Flora's going to be the demon baby, that there has to be some sort of reason for. Nope.
She's just a dumb kid.
Nope.
That's what it just annoyed me that she's like, yeah, Mom, kill yourself so I can be happy.
Yeah.
Technically, she didn't suggest it. She was going to kill herself.
Yeah, but
her mom wanted
why
to.
agree to that? Like, why do you want to die?
She's like, what, 12?
Dude, the money Lee has at this point, like, offer to buy her something dope and, like, be like, ta-da.
Yeah.
Like most other parents these days.
Yeah, and then
Why don't we go find you some living friends that aren't going to make you eat berries in the woods
and we'll
until
go get
they
some
kill
ice
you.
cream and pizza, and then, like, we'll eventually be okay.
Set up a video cam at that house so they could talk via video chat.
Yep.
And be like, hey, Priscilla, how's it going? Ooh.
But you didn't get me
that's
yet.
good.
I like the video chat.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't. That's
Yeah.
what her voice sounded like when they recorded it, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They just bring that tape and just play it and be like, I got you a bonnet, I got you this tape,
Sure.
I got
need
you
in
some
life.
berries, let's play.
That's all she needs.
Berries and cream. Berries and cream.
I had to.
I mean, there have been so many pop culture references. Why
Why
not
not?
throw a commercial in there?
Yep.
That was
Deal
the
with
only
it.
thing that this was missing. I mean, it had an entire, like,
Right.
TVs, movies.
yeah. It had everything that you
And
get
I'm like,
flipping through channels.
you know, I feel like I'm just in a moment of like, God, I wish so many of the predictions we made came true. Like, I
do
wish
too.
this
We
would
had
end up
some
being
good
like
ones.
Lee's book and like the chapters were, you know, like all these other
it would have been
things.
really cool. It was all.
Yeah.
This is one of the very few times that I feel like our fan fiction was almost more accurate to the
Right.
American Horror Story brand than what they actually did.
Yeah.
I wanted Lee to be the person to bring Lady Gaga's spirit to the
Yeah.
world,
I mean,
to the masses.
We got
They-
nothing with that. What
I
was
think
the point?
I think if anything, that's probably my major oversight at the moment, because it's just like that was such. It's the
was an
it's the what's the word, like something that's the fire starter of this entire season is
Yeah.
Lady Gaga's character making the butcher happen, which made all of this happen, and
The
it's
whole
this huge
impetus.
it's this huge domino effect, and then you have it
the
rebirth,
supreme.
and then you have it rebirthed in Lee in episode 9 when you have 10 episodes in a season, and then it
Give us this
fizzles out.
cliffhanger to live for the next
but yeah,
year.
so it's like
And how are we supposed to know that she's like the original Supreme or whatever? Just because we read it in an article? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, how come it's not
it's-
shown in the show?
I don't think that it's
it's
yet.
kind of like
Oh, so there's gonna be another.
I think they tend to like spell things out in later seasons
Okay.
when they want it to be a direct reference. I think.
don't
What do
know.
you
They had,
think?
But, like-
they had that little scene where she explains how she gets her powers from the old world and the new world. We never got an understanding of, okay,
No.
but if you came from the new world, how did you know anything about witchcraft? Because you were like some stowaway maid
Yeah.
or something. So they kind of hint to it.
Just saying that she's a witch, though, not like the OG Supreme.
But remember, she came with the colonizers. So she was a part of like the first people to get there.
I just really thought then, even if we follow with this, like Lee sacrifices herself so Flora will leave, I can't believe there wasn't some like scene that was even like you guys were talking about the Freddy and Jason wink at the end, where it's just like I'm not
cliffhanger.
really dead
Yeah.
because
some sort of
I'm a badass MF and I can't die anymore because I ate a heart out of Lady Gaga's hands.
Yeah, it didn't make sense that that never came back, and that her solution, if it was quote always about Flora, then why is she like, oh, you know, I just really want to be a mom to somebody. Priscilla needs a mom too. I didn't even think about it. I'll just be Priscilla's mom.
I think it really is
You
supposed
like
to be
your
like
grandparents.
it's supposed to be so quote unquote sentimental that she sacrificed herself
Exactly,
for Flora,
which-
but like
yeah.
No.
But at that point, I'm like, you are her mom. Just lock her up and be like, you can't go back there.
No, you can't have another bar until you come home.
Yeah.
yeah.
And kind of going back to that, where was the hostage negotiator? We never heard the hostage negotiator.
Yeah, and the
That
whole
was,
There was a
that was weird.
standoff,
Like the
but-
standoff, would it really be that dramatic and big for a mom and a daughter in a house? Like,
Well,
is,
Lee
yeah,
is a big deal, I guess.
Yeah, but we didn't
Yeah.
hear them talking on the loudspeaker or anything to say, "Hey, come
come out. Yeah.
like remove one of the TV shows we were forced to watch earlier and give us more understanding of how this
going
moment
on.
came to be.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was just kind of like, oh, just assume that because Lee is famous for Flora. Well, I mean, everybody did just see a live. I mean, this is a big deal because on air live, somebody with an assault rifle just killed all of these people.
We don't even know how anyone knew that Lee and Flora were in there in the first place.
But I guess that wasn't even just live because that was weeks ago. That was weeks previous.
Yeah.
So, like,
but I bet they've been looking for both of them for weeks.
And figured they were at the house.
I bet Lee was also missing.
So we shouldn't be playing Scooby-Doo gang right now.
Yeah, it should just be out there.
This shouldn't be happening.
Right.
This should have been explained.
I don't need to know that Bob and Dave think that their thermal gear is totally awesome. I need to know why these people are here. Yeah.
I did enjoy the line when she said, like, your little frat face... your frat face will tend to get torn off in this house. That was a fun line.
That was good.
Did like that.
So why is Priscilla's power still better than Lady Gaga's? Because if Lady Gaga let her eat the pig's heart and, you know, she got all...
I don't think that it's better than Lady Gaga's. I think it's just because she's a child. She, like, Flora just bonded with her, and it's like, Flora, I guess...
Flora was a bastard. She never had
She can successfully
parents.
hide in the ghost world, apparently. So, like...
It makes me feel
so
like
she
that.
still can be safe from all the other ghost shenanigans, I guess. It's weird.
Maybe that heart that Gaga gave her had like an expiration date. Maybe it's just like that.
It's very temporary.
Like the fairy godmother thing. Like this
She's
only
like
lasts
till
tonight.
midnight.
Yeah.
But she didn't lose the glass slipper.
She almost lost her daughter.
There you go.
Oh man.
She did.
We tried this one. We tried.
Yeah.
You know who didn't?
At least someone did, yeah.
Yeah.
Boom.
God.
So that's how the whole season ends. Is with we see that Flora walks out as the house explodes. They burn the whole thing to the ground. Lee is shot by Priscilla. She shows Priscilla how to shoot her. Which, was that even really necessary when the house then explodes and kills?
I guess Lee literally could have just stood at the oven and shot the oven, you know?
Yeah.
And then it would just...
But sure.
But so shooting Lee blew up the house?
Yeah, did you see
yeah,
they had
poured
they had a little
gas
FX thing that was supposed to be like the gas leaking. They obviously sat in the kitchen for a while, like with everything on. So the combustion from the gun.
Well, maybe Priscilla had to kill her for her to, because remember, she's supposed to be
it has
killed
to be
by
Priscilla.
Yeah.
One of the ghosts has to do it because that's what Flora was saying, was she just get one of the other ones to do it if Priscilla didn't kill her.
Okay.
But,
another rule to jot down in the rule.
A rule that doesn't come back around, so I don't know.
Which, with all these killers, if that was the premise this whole
Where are
time, was
they?
that Flora was just like, I've been waiting weeks to get killed. Like, how come the chins weren't like...
And also, I hate nitpicking, but it's really just motivating me too. Lee just pops up immediately after being shot, but we have all these other people murdered. We have never seen a single ghost of anyone else. And it's weeks and weeks later.
I think we just saw what Flora saw in that case. Like, because she sees Priscilla all the time. So I guess she sees her mom.
Now she sees
'cause she's aware of
Priscilla with her mom. So she's always seen Priscilla, but now Priscilla isn't alone.
Okay, sure.
I can give them that. That one, I'm like, I can give you that one.
Yeah.
There's a lot that I cannot give you, but that last shot, I'm like, I can give you that. But then
I don't like it,
now we have what you were saying, Michelle. Like, now it's nighttime,
And they're
we
coming
see the
back down
villagers
to
coming
the
back to
police
just slaughter
officers.
everybody else. Well, is Flora gone now, or is she just about to die too, but off property? So then Lee is stuck forever with somebody else's
No,
kid.
I mean, she's still down. I mean, the way they made it seems like everyone's literally just still down there. So
yeah. So
What's gonna go? What's gonna happen?
We'll never know.
Just
I don't know today.
Okay.
Guys, let's play this game. Favorite and least favorite season so far of American Horror Story.
Oh, I like that. That's how we started this season. That's a good way to end it. Has this season swayed anybody's?
Not for me.
I liked it a lot until this episode. Like,
Yeah.
it kept my attention.
Right.
And a lot of the most recent seasons haven't. I stopped watching. So I'll give it that. But I don't know. I don't know if I have a...
Yeah, well, see,
Yeah.
my least favorite is what you're alluding to, is Freak Show, because
Yeah.
I genuinely faded out about 8 episodes in and didn't finish the season.
Me neither.
Because it just
Freak Show
lost
lost
me.
focus fast.
Yeah.
It got good when Neil Patrick Harris came in. But
Which, again, introducing a new main character like
Yeah.
3/4 into the season. Favorite, though, is still Murder House. It just is. It's the most,
I say Murder House and Coven, I think.
Covenant's like I can't compare, though, because genuinely I look at Coven as more of a comedy, but I love it.
I love
It's just
Kevin.
it just didn't scare me as much. I just loved the writing.
I just
For
don't like the
different
end
reasons.
too. It annoys me.
The very last episode was rough, but other than that, it
Yeah.
was a great season, I think. Other than
Coven was my favorite, and I have to say Hotel was my least.
Really? I loved the visuals of Hotel.
Yeah. Well,
and the music I like.
for Hotel, it was just Lady Gaga's
Yeah.
entire wardrobe was everything. That's all I watched it for.
Right.
It was a
But-
14-hour music video.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a great one.
I would be
but-
in that music video.
Yeah, this one will probably be in my
be
top,
honest.
my bottom 3 because, like you were saying, there were episodes that I was like, oh my gosh,
Right.
but then in between it was like, okay. I'm
But
just
I also
watching
didn't
this.
care about the characters that much. You
Yeah,
know?
this one I
But I
didn't really
think
care about the
that's
characters.
and I think that's kind of because of what I was trying to talk about earlier is the way they intentionally flipped the script so much on us in the format we were watching it. It never let us like settle
Yeah.
into rooting for
Yeah.
anyone or connecting, or it made it more of an attention grabbing season. So we kept wanting to watch because it kept constantly changing. But ultimately, it didn't like. Now we're at a finale and we feel like zero payoff.
Yeah.
It had a lot of style and then kind of ran out of substance.
Yeah.
And then try to just make up for one with the other, I felt. But overall, I mean, I liked the first half of it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had some great acting moments.
I
True.
liked, like 3 or 4 episodes.
I think Sarah Paulson and I always
Vivica A. Fox?
No,
No, not Vivica. What's her name? Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett.
I saved it.
Angela Bassett.
saved
No,
myself.
and who actually plays actually?
Oh,
I
yeah.
always forget her name. I'm
don't know
terrible with it.
Oh,
Re-
Aida. I could spell her name. Aida, and I can't remember her last name on the top of my head.
Aida.
Anyway,
yeah.
those three, I
The
think,
acting,
I think
yeah.
they still deserve some acting attention come award season because they
Yeah.
They
had
were
some good stuff. Yeah.
I could definitely see some awards coming out of this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Also, like probably like makeup and special effects and stuff. There's a lot this season.
Yeah, that I could
Yeah.
say for it. Not okay.
I think all the good actresses, aside from the main lead, I think all the other ones I wanted to see more of, like Angela Bassett and the mama. Like the.
Oh, Pulp Mama.
Yeah. She's
yeah,
Pulp
she was
Mama.
really good.
Yeah.
Was there any sort of key moments that you guys think like, hey, this is going to be something that's going to stick in American Horror Story canon that people are going to remember from this season? What do you think are the standout moments?
Ooh.
Stand out moments.
I don't know if there was a big one.
Because there were
Just
still
the
so
house.
many questions. That's why I can't really say if there were standout moments. Because usually we could see in past episodes they have something we could see how it plays out in another episode or another season. But this one it's kind of like, I guess it'll just have to be Lee eating the pig's heart.
If that comes to more fruition
Gaga.
later. But like
Yeah.
as far as me just like what I'm gonna remember from the seasons most honestly, it's probably gonna be a lot of the murders because they were the more gory in
Which
your
I
face
loved.
stuff we've seen in a while
That I
on the
loved.
show, which I love. Yeah.
Very hostile.
Poor Cricket and the disembowelment.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get
And
that
also
image
the
out of
two
my head.
kids.
That was
And
rough.
the 2 kids that got impaled.
Yeah. Ooh, that was bad too.
Oh, that was rough.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm excited to see how all of this ties in next season.
Right.
We have a long way to go until then, but until then, where can we find more from you guys?
Guys, tweet at me about everything from scary stuff to puppies. Zach Kelch. Bye.
Hey guys, hit me up on Instagram at Michelle_MadisonTV, and I'd like to hear your feedback on this season and what's coming up next.
Hey, I'm Kelly McInerney. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo. What they all said.
And I'm Alana Jordan. You can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan and on Instagram at that Alana Jordan girl. And you can also find me here on AfterBuzz TV hosting the Teen Wolf After Show started this week. So, yeah, hit us all up. We want to hear more from you guys, and hopefully we'll see you next season. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.